So, dear friends, greeting of the day. Myself, Dr. Trullo Gupta. In the previous videos, we have discussed about the introduction of the cracks and the causes of cracks due to the this moisture change. Now, in this video, we will discuss the other causes that will responsible for the cracks in our building or structure, and we are discussing only non-structural cracks. So, and in the next video, we will discuss the causes of cracks due to the soil. So, in this video, we will discuss other than soil and the other than moisture change. So, first of all, we will discuss the thermal movement. Basically, all material that is more or less expand on heating and contract on the cooling. When this movement is restrained, internal stresses are set up in the component and may cause crack due to tensile or shear stress. Thermal movement in one of the most potent causes of potential causes of cracking in building, and calls for careful consideration. The extent of thermal movements depends upon the this ambient temperature variation or coefficient of thermal expansion. That is, the expansion of cement mortar and concrete is almost twice of the brick and brickwork, and movement in brickwork in vertical direction is 50% more than in horizontal direction. And third one is the dimension of the component. So the cracks due to the thermal movement is caused either due to external heat, that is due to the variation in ambient temperature, or due to internally generated heat, that is due to heat of hydration in mass concrete during construction. The cracks in building component due to thermal movement open and closes alternatively with change in the ambient temperature. The concreting done in summer is more liable for cracking due to drop in temperature in winter, since thermal contraction and drying shrinkage acts in unison. Whereas the concrete job done in the winter is less liable to cracking, though it may requires wider expansion joint. Generally speaking, thermal variation in the internal walls and intermediate floor are not much and thus do not cause cracking. It is mainly the external wall exposed to direct solar radiation and the roof, which is subjected to the substantial thermal variation, are more liable to the cracks. So this shows the typical, we are showing the typical cases of the thermal movement. Basically, in this figure, this horizontal cracks at the base of the brick masonry parapet is showing, and which is supported on the projecting RCC slab. So this is the horizontal cracks at the junction of the brick masonry with the RCC slab, and here we have this masonry parapet is outside the wall. So this due to the change in the thermal movement, this type of cracks is takes place. Now this is the another example where the cracking in the cross walls. These are the cross walls and of the top most story of a load bearing structure, because due to the this change in the thermal movement again. So this thermal movement is shown in the, that is takes place in the slabs, and due to this cross walls is subjected to the crack. Now this is again another example of the thermal movement, again outside this cracking in the cladding and cross walls of a framed structure, that is basically due to again the thermal movement. Now this is another example of this cracking in the slab. So here the arching up action or arching up, and there is the cracking of the coping stone of a this long garden wall. Basically, this is a boundary wall or garden wall. So this is a coping, and due to this change in temperature or thermal movement, this arching action is takes place, and there will be the cracks in this coping. So this is the another example of the thermal cracks due to the thermal movement. Now, elastic deformation. Structural components of a building undergo elastic deformation due to dead and the superimposed live load in accordance with the Hooke's law. The amount of deformation depends upon the elastic modulus, magnitude of loading, and the this dimension of the components. And this elastic deformation are done this under certain circumstances causes cracking in the building, as there are the main three circumstances. First is the when wall are unevenly loaded, when wide variation in stresses in different parts, excessive shear stress is developed when which causes cracking in walls. Next one is the when the beam or slab of larger span undergoes excessive deflection and there is not much vertical load above the support, and this ends of beam slab curl up, causing cracks in supporting masonry. And next is the when the two material having widely different elastic properties are built side by side. Under the effect of load, shear stresses are set up at the interface of the two material, resulting in the cracks at the junction. Such a situation is commonly encountered in the construction of RCC framed structure and brick masonry panels or partition, that is the internal walls. So these are the typical basically case. There are the two cases of the elastic deformation. In the this left one figure shows the diagonal cracks in the cross walls of the multi-story bearing structures. That is due to the elastic deformation, and because of there will be the excessive deflection. And in the other one, there is the vertical cracks in the multi-story having window opening in load bearing. So these are the basically vertical cracks, and that is at the corner of the openings. So this is again due to the plastic deformation. So now next, creep. Basically normally when we use the building materials such as concrete, brickwork, mortar, timber, etc., when subjected to the sustained load, not only for undergoes for the instant elastic deformation, but also undergo a gradual and slow time dependent deformation, that is known as the creep, or sometimes called as the plastic strain. Basically, it is time dependent deformation and due to the sustained load. And in concrete, basically, the extent of the creep depends on the water and cement content, water cement ratio, temperature and humidity, use of admixture, age or strength of concrete at the time of loading, size and shape of the components. Basically, so this is the basically these two are not related. It is part of the previous slides. So we can say that the creep is increases with water and cement content and water cement ratio and temperature. It decreases with the increase in humidity of surrounding and the age or strength of the material at the time of loading. Use of admixture and pozzolana in concrete increases the creep also, and creep also increase with increase in surface to volume ratio of the components. Now, movement due to the chemical reactions. So, certain chemical reactions in building material result in appreciable increase in volume of material, due to which internal stresses are set up, which may result in outward thrust and formation of cracks. The material involved in reaction also become weak in strength. The common instance of chemical reactions are the sulfate attack, so carbonation in the cement waste material, corrosion of reinforcement in concrete, alkali aggregate reaction undergoes excessive deflection, and this built in sorry, this one is again. So now sulfate attack. This basically depends. What is the sulfate attack? Basically, soluble sulfates, which are sometimes present in soil or groundwater or clay bricks, react with tricalcium aluminate content of cement and hydraulic lime in the presence of moisture and form produce which occupies much larger volume than the original constitutes. This expensive reaction causes weakening of masonry, concrete and plaster and formation of crack, and this reaction is necessary that soluble sulfate, tricalcium aluminate and moistures all three are present. So, and the severity of sulfate attacks basically depends on the amount of soluble sulfates present, permeability of concrete and mortar, content of tricalcium aluminate in cement used for concrete and mortar, and duration for which the building components remain damp. Now, the building component which are liable to sulfate attack are concrete and masonry in foundation and plinth, and masonry and plaster in superstructure. The sulfate attack on these components will result in weakening of these components and in course of time may result in unequal settlement of foundation that is shown in this figure, and that will responsible the cracks in the superstructure. So this figure shows the cracking and upheaving of a tile floor due to the sulfate action in base concrete, that is the brick aggregate containing more than 1% of this soluble sulfates, and there is a long spell of dampness due to the high water table. So due to this C represents the compression, and this there will be the upheaving of a flooring. So that will ultimately responsible for the cracking in the floor. Now, next one is the carbonation. Basically, during hardening of concrete, some calcium hydroxide, this CaOH2, is liberated in the process of hydration of cement, and it react with the free CO2 carbon dioxide, and it provide this basically we have a protective layer uh, surrounding the reinforcement bars, and due to this reaction of this calcium hydroxide and free carbon dioxide, that form a this uh, calcium carbonate and this H2O, and that is responsible for the lowering the pH of the concrete. Basically, we generally have the pH of concrete is more than 12, but due to this reaction, and what will happen, there will be the lowering in the pH of the concrete, and that will be the responsible for this destruction of the passive layer that is formed during the heat of during the hydration process of the cement. So ultimately this carbonate is basically confined mainly to the surface layer, and depth of carbonation should not be exceed normally this 20 mm in the 50-year span of the structure. So this in porous concrete, it may reach up to the 100 mm in 50 years. The effect of this carbonation is more severe in industrial locality having higher percentage of this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this is again responsible for the cracking in the concrete. Now, corrosion of reinforcement bar in concrete is also responsible for the cracks in the structure. So, normally concrete provide good protection to steel reinforcement embedded in it. Protective quality of concrete depends upon high alkalinity and relatively high electrical resistivity of concrete. Extent of protection depends upon the quality of concrete, depth of concrete cover, and the workmanship. However, when the reinforcement steel get corroded, it increases in volume with setting up of internal stresses in the concrete. In course of time, it first causes crack in line with the direction of the reinforcement, later on causing spalling of the concrete. So factors which are contribute to corrosion of the concrete in corrosion of reinforcement in concrete are the presence of cracks in the concrete, permeability of concrete, formation of the corrosion cell, alkali aggregate reactions, use of calcium chloride as accelerator, presence of moisture, ingress of seawater into porous of concrete, presence of soluble sulfate, inadequacy of cover to reinforcement. So these we will discuss in the separate video that will be exclusively for the corrosion of the reinforcement bars in the concrete. Next is the alkali aggregate reactions. So this in OPC, this sodium oxide and potassium oxide are present to some extent. These alkalis chemically react with certain siliceous minerals constitutes to aggregate and cause expansion, cracking and disintegration of concrete. In RCC member, it also causes corrosion of reinforcement. Cracking due to this reaction is usually of a map pattern, and the reaction being very slow, it takes number of years for cracks to develop. So here we can observe these are the concrete, these are the aggregate, these are the fine aggregate and cement paste, and there is some, we can say that the sodium oxide or potassium oxide, and that will expand with the passage of time, and there will be the cracking, and that will be the responsible for the cracking in the structure of concrete, and that is called as the alkali aggregate reaction. So I have used the ISP 25 1984 handbook on causes and prevention of the cracking in building to make this video. I am very thankful to the Bureau of Indian Standard for providing such information in the SP 25. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.